Hey everybody, this is Mike from the One Stop Co-op Shop, and I've got a preview of an upcoming game from Renegade. This is the Search for the Lost Species, which is a follow-up slash successor slash reimplementation of the Search for Planet X series. And it's got competitive play and also a solo mode, both of which are enabled by an app. I'll be showing a full solo playthrough and then giving some thoughts at the end of the video. And as always, we accept no compensation for our crowdfunding coverage. We just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also watch our separate streaming channel, listen to our weekly podcast, or join the conversation on our Discord. So if you've seen the Search for Planet X, a lot of this will be very familiar. You've got a board made up of spaces, 16 in this case, and each of them can hold up to one of 6 things. You've got lorries, couscouses, I should have checked the pronunciation for these, toads, a python, 5 empty spaces, and then 1 lost species. And that's what triggers the end of the game, when one of the players locates the lost species that is hiding somewhere on the map. Now, they each have their own rules for where they can be. The lorries like to bird it up together in a little shape like that. They provide this thing to kind of help you figure out where they could be. The couscouses also like to be close together within 2 tiles of each other. The toads just want to be next to at least 2 empty spaces, and the python just doesn't want to be next to a couscous. And that's really it. It's pretty straightforward. Now, the lost species has like rules that are different each time you play. And partially it's based on which lost species you're playing against, which gives you a starting rule. In this case, we're playing, again, sorry for pronunciation, the Wandiwoi tree kangaroo, who cannot be in the same terrain type as the python. The board is made up of hills, these little brown ones, rainforest, the green ones, and swamps, the darker green or black. And there are going to be 6 of these lost species at least, I think, in the final game. But at this point, only the tree kangaroo is implemented in the early version of the app. Everything you're seeing is a prototype, of course. So that's the only one I've been able to play with. And the lost species will always appear as an empty space if you do things to try to find it. So you have to narrow it down by finding the other things generally. Now, to go to the actual board, and this is very different from the Search for Planet X, you're going to be actually moving around on this board, like going into places to search for them. You'll be moving through spaces, and then the app will tell you, you'll look for one animal type. Like, let's say you move through 12 and 11 and ask, how many frogs or toads did I move through? It'll be like, you moved through 1 toad in those spaces, and that'll help you kind of narrow things down. You've also got these mountains. Those block adjacencies, so you can't move through them. And except for lorries, the birds who don't care about them, because they can just fly over, I guess, all of the other animals can't count these spaces as adjacent. Like the couscouses who want to be near each other, the mountains would mess that up, so it'll kind of help you narrow things down. Another new addition to the formula are these cards you can get whenever you go to one of the 2 villages on the board. That's also where you go to unlock these research topics, which will give you extra information about where things are located. And the game uses a very similar time-based system to the Search for Planet X. Whoever is furthest back gets to take an action, which will always move you 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 spaces ahead. And then the next person who is furthest back will then take an action. So basically, if you move really far forward, somebody might get to take multiple actions in a row. And whenever everybody has passed this little larger brown meeple, then it will jump forward and you'll resolve whatever action it was on. Most of which are going to be you getting the chance to put down these sighting tokens and say, I know for sure where something is. These are going to earn you the majority of your victory points in the game, although you can also get victory points from the cards, and you also get victory points for finding the lost species in the end. And sighting tokens will eventually get revealed so that everybody knows what's in that space. So it's kind of like a benefit and a drawback. You get victory points for it, and if you're first to locate something, you get even more victory points, but you're also giving information to your opponents. And the AI in the app basically plays like a player. They don't really have any special rules, except that when they get cards that are worth 2 victory points for them, they don't actually pay attention to the abilities. And they only put down sighting tokens when they're 100% sure of where something is, whereas you can guess. So that will often give you some idea. But let's jump in and show you how the game works, show you the app, and play through it. So here's the app. I'm not going to show it too much. I'll just kind of tell you what it says. But I'm using my, this is actually the phone I usually record with, but my wife is letting me borrow her phone to record, so sorry if the quality is slightly different. But you'll get a code, and each player could have their own device, or you could pass them around. And you get to say which side you're on. I'm on the south side. It just orients the map correctly. How many facts you start with? I'm going to start with 0 because I'm on the easy side of the map. So we'll see if I can win without any starting facts. But that would tell me initially where some things are not and are. Yeah, it's a little hard to see. But here you go. These are the things I can research. I can find out something about pythons in this game, lorries, toads, hill terrain, couscouses, swamp terrain. And these two bottom ones are like the conferences that always happen automatically, and every player gets to hear about them. They're just based on that little meeple moving around. So we'll get to hear something about the lost species and something about the lost species being related to couscouses. And the tree kangaroo is already related to pythons. So those seem like slightly more valuable things to find, the python and the couscous. So we'll go write those down on my sheet. Then I say I'm going to start the solo game. Teeny is the name of the solo app. And they're going to be the RNG kind of red piece, and I'm going to be the purple one. And it says they're starting on area 3. And because Teeny is in the back, they're going to take the first turn. And again, I won't show this every time, but it's the first few times. I'm going to click on Teeny's turn. It tells me what they do. So first, it always verifies where they are on the time track and which space they're on, just to kind of make sure that you haven't messed anything up. They're on space 3. And let's see. They are going to visit the town, do research on the lorry. I can write this down because it will give me information on like what they could know, so that when they make a guess, I have an idea of what they might do. And they get one of the town cards, in this case, the highest numbered card. And it reminds me how far forward they go. Each action in the game takes, again, between 1 through 5 times. So researching at a town and getting a card only takes 1 time. All right, so they go to the town. And each player has this little token that shows you cannot go to the town again until... This is one of the actions for the trail leader over here. Until they move off of this space, then you will get your little town token back. Now, it said they get the highest numbered card. That's just a random thing to kind of take cards from you, potentially, but it's going to be worth 2 victory points for them, so we can keep it face down. But there's an invasive toad fighters card. It means for each of the 2 toads you successfully find throughout the game, you'll get an extra 2 victory points. And red's up here, so now I'll take my action. And if I go into the same space as him, whenever you come into a space as somebody else, you go in front of them so that they'll go before you. You know, I forgot to write down which research we did. I think it was it Python? Well, you all will know, but I won't remember. But I'm going to move to the town as well, since it's a short action. Put my token down there. Now you have to move 3 spaces, and the town sort of counts as its own space. So 1, 2, 3. So I was close enough to get there. And my 4 options are a messenger that would immediately let me place a sighting token, but I don't know where anything is yet, and I don't need to do that. A marsupial conservationist that would give me an extra point for every couscous I've found. That might be useful. A town elder that would let me do 2 research topics instead of 1. And a swamp expert that will let me put down a camera trap. This lets me find out exactly what's in a space, and it normally costs 4 time, one of the most expensive actions in the game. This one would be for a swamp, but it will make it only cost 2 times. That would basically save me 2 time, get me more research, sighting token I don't want, victory points I'm not sure if I'm going to get. I'm going to get the swamp expert. That seems like a sure thing. And you always replace immediately. We've got a second copy of the messenger. And this card hangs out these one-time cards until I want to use it on my turn, and then I discard it. All right, what do I want to research? Again, I think they did pythons. Lorries are the birds, and finding them gives you kind of the most coverage because you get 4 spaces covered very quickly. So I'm kind of curious about them. But then the couscouses are actually related in this second research topic to the lost species. So I'm kind of thinking either the lorries or the couscouses. What the hey, let's try for the lorries. So I click in the app, and it's always going to be the same thing for every character. Ooh, at least 1 lorry is adjacent to a town. Well, that narrows it down a ton, doesn't it? There's only 2 towns on the map, the one I'm on and the one the AI is on. And there you go. They got a nice little space for you to keep notes for everything. And I move to the front since we're on the same space. That means Teeny's going to take the next turn. And they're going to do their camera trap right away for 4 time. Wow. So they're going to space 4. They will know exactly what is there, but I will have no idea. And once again, you have to move up to 3 spaces. The only time you can move more than 3 is when you search for animals by boats, which lets you move up to 6, but you have to move along one of the coastlines when you do that. And the camera trap token, like the town token, goes on the board, and until the little wooden meeple goes all the way around, quite far the way around, you don't get these back very quickly, then you won't be able to use it again. And I'm taking notes on what they do so that, again, I know what they're likely to know. Now, you might wonder why they did such an expensive move with the camera trap, but we were about to have our first chance to put down a guess about where something is. So that's guaranteeing unless there's a chance 5 out of the 16 spaces are empty. Well, 6 with the lost species, that one appears empty. There's a 6 in 16 chance that they just kind of, in a way, wasted that because they're not going to be able to actually put anything down. Do I want to repeat their action, or do I want to start trying to track down these birds that I know are next to one of the town spaces? I mean, if I do a quick little tour of the town I'm around, so they have to be adjacent to the town. So they'd have to be in this space or this space, or adjacent to the other town entirely. Although if they're adjacent to the other town, I'll actually still have a pretty good chance of guessing, because it'll be one of these 2 spaces. And remember, they have to be in this kind of diamond shape, so If I know they're there, I'll really narrow down my choices of where they could be. So yeah, I'm going to survey for animals. And there's two ways to do that. You can survey by foot, which lets you move 1, 2, or 3 spaces. You can backtrack through the same spaces, but the key thing is I have to enter 1 to 3 new spaces and not move more than 3. And then I'll say an animal type, and they'll tell me how many I witnessed, but not in which specific spaces in that move. So like if I went 1, 2, 3 and surveyed for lorries, it would be in any of these 3 spaces, I saw, I don't know, 2 lorries, and then I would be able to like kind of narrow it down what I might be looking for. Survey by boat is the exact same thing, except you can move up to 6 spaces, and you have to enter at least 4 new spaces, but you can still backtrack. So I could go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and every move has to be along the coast. So you couldn't like go inland or jump from one side of the land to the other. You got to go along the water. So yeah, and I think I'm going to do survey by boat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the app, I'm going to say which spaces I did. 11, 10, 9, 8. And again, I won't show it every time, but this time it's a little bit hard on a phone. Tablet's definitely better, but couldn't get the app to run on my wife's tablet. There we go. Selected the 4. It has to be a minimum 4 for survey by boat. It's going to take me 2 time. I have to say what I'm surveying for, which is the birds, and there are none. Okay, well, I did totally eliminate this town. But I don't know a ton else. Actually, I do. I'll show you how much I know in a second. So now there's no bird there. I can keep track of my own actions if I want to, although I think it's pretty obvious for this one. Now, I know that at least one lorry has to be adjacent to a town, which means there's one here or one here. So the furthest down they can get is like this area here. So I can eliminate every bird as an option in a space that is not up there. So I've kind of cut birds off. Now, here's the thing that I'm happy about. I'm going to be able to guess at least one animal because, look, in every configuration that includes one of these things, one space is covered. Boom. So I know 100% certainty that there is a lorry there. Here, make it clear. We can cross out everything else in that space. So that's going to be maybe my one guess because once you use these tokens, you don't get them back. So if I guess a bird in a wrong space, I've kind of wasted a token. And then when that incorrect guess comes up and the app sees it, I lose it time as well. So it's definitely kind of a big penalty. Now that action took me 2 time. So we are going to place our sighting tokens. You can place 0, 1, or 2. In competitive game, you like all simultaneously decide which ones you're placing and then reveal. Although you don't see which ones they are. Like, you're putting 1 down for a bird, but nobody else knows until it gets revealed later. And this little, 3 with a brown arrow going to it says what time marker you put on top of your guess, which in this case is a 3. And the 1 with a green check mark shows which time marker gets revealed, which would be a 1. So in this case, I'd put a 3 on it. And a bunch of turns later, when the guy gets around to here and moves on, you'll see there's a 3 with a check mark. That's when we'll find out whether I was right, and everyone else will see what I discovered there. So in the solo mode, you always place yours first. Normally, it's in player order. Whoever's further back does it first, which is where I am anyway. I'm guessing the 1 bird I'm sure about. And then we say Teeny places sighting tokens, and it tells us she puts one in areas 2 and 3. What? Oh, so this is weird. What could she have found out in 4 that would let her know that there's something in 2 and 3? Now, for now, you don't actually need to worry about which tokens you put there. You just use anybody. But then when it's actually revealed, you'll change it to be the correct thing because that's how you count how many victory points you get at the end of the game. So Teeny knows that there's something in 2 and 3. And the app has no idea that I made a guess here. That's the one piece of information they don't get. They do know when you found something for sure. All they've done is done research on a python and done a camera trap here. And even if they found a lorry here, you know what? The thing is, I'm not sure how many facts the AI starts with. It seems like maybe they started with more than I did at 0. So yeah, I'm really not sure what that means. Although the fact that they're together makes me think that those are lorries and that all 4 of these are lorries. I'll try to verify that fact, but that's kind of what I'm feeling like at the moment. All right, so this guy, since we passed him, moves on to there. We'll get our town tokens back and play some more guesses. I think I'm going to survey by boat again. And get to right here where they put the camera trap. If I reveal a single lorry, which I'm kind of guessing I will, that will 100% confirm, I think, the only configuration that would include that and something adjacent to the town, that all 4 of these are lorries and that my guess is right. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going 7, 6, 5, 4, the minimum of 4 movement. All right, and yes, indeed. Okay, so there is 1 lorry there. So somehow the AI knew that there was a lorry there as well. So I'm 100% sure that these are the 4 lorry spots. That was eliminated pretty quickly. Now, that has no interaction with anybody else that we know of at this point, so that doesn't really help us necessarily very much, but it's still good to know. And as a 2 action, we move on to where they are after their camera trap. So now they're going to go first, and then we'll go as well before we make any more guesses. But we've got 3 places to guess at this point. And, we can try to be first in this one to get the bonus point, but we can still kind of leech off these ones. You get 1 bonus point for being the first one to put a guess down, but each lore you guess still gives you 2 victory points, so we don't want to lose the chance to guess those. Okay, interesting. It says Teeny is serving 5 through 10. Which is right down where I came from. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for the Python. They are really trying to find it. And there's only 1 Python on the entire board, and the only rule they have is that they are not next to couscouses. Although now with the birds up here, I'm thinking it's less likely the Python is down here, because there's a pretty good chance needing 3 spots for couscouses if they're going to be congregated somewhere in this general area. And that takes them 1, 2 time. You skip over the wood grain thing. Those are just for the little trail leader person here. So after my next action, we'll make some more guesses, get our town token back. And yeah, I have a feeling that there's going to be some couscouses probably in here, right? Because again, they need 3 spots. They need to be within 2 spaces of each other. So there's really not a lot of real estate up where the birds are. So I'm going to survey by boat, the minimum, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 8, looking for couscouses. That'll take me 2 time. I found none. Which in a way is good, right? I mean, I've eliminated 4 possibilities, and again, with them needing to be all within 2 spaces of each other, and of all of them, it's not 2 spaces in a line, 1 here, and 1 down here. All 3 of them have to congregate within 2 tiles. So yeah, what could be possible? I mean, I guess they could be 1, 2, 3, and totally denying my whole not with the birds thing. But I think it's more likely they're probably boop, 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 or boop, 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 or somewhere in here. So I'll try to do another water move maybe next turn and see if I can track them down more. But first I might take a town action because we are getting it back. So we've passed 2 things. So first we're going to place turn 4 guesses. We reveal time 2 guesses, but there aren't any. We'll get our town token back so we can take that action again. And then we'll get all communally to know what the first rule is about the lost species in this one. All right, so 4 guesses. I want to go into the one that they have not guessed yet, because that way, at a minimum, I will tie them for first person there. And then I'll go ahead and guess one of the 2 that I already know they know. And then Teeny does 4 and 15. That was expected, because we all know where the birds are. So I'm not going to get an exclusive bonus point here. But I did beat her there, and we're going to tie for the bonus point here. So it's not too far ahead. And now we get to share the Lost Species Conference number 1. Which is that it does not have 1 or more animals to the northwest. So looking that way from where I am. Which at the moment literally tells us nothing, because the only animals we're sure about are right here, and there is no space further southeast so that the northwest would have an animal in it. So yeah, that didn't help us at all, but eventually it might. All right, now Teeny goes again and goes for 1 time. Oh, sorry, these tokens should be back. Yeah, she goes to the village now that she can. It is a good action to take as often as you can. And which she went for the highest one again, which is kind of a bummer. It's just 2 victory points for her, but I might have grabbed that just for if I find the couscous getting bonus victory points. And she did the toad research, okay. Which makes sense because we don't really know anything about them. She's at least searched for pythons and I've searched for couscouses. So that's only 1 time. I could go to the town now, but I kind of want to keep tracking down the couscouses. Because as long as I go before the person gets to this next spot, I'll be okay. Now, do I have anything more to guess? I have 1 more bird to guess, so that's good at least. But yeah, I have nothing else, which again makes me think maybe I look for some couscouses and see if they show up. Or maybe. It would send me really far afield, but I could use my camera trap. But again, there's at this point we found 4 things, so there's only, 12 spaces left, and 6 of them will show up as empty. So that is a 50% chance that this will be a blank. Oh, I forgot. I got the silly swamp expert cards. There we go. That only pushed me forward 2 times. So yeah, let's go ahead and use my camera trap. I'm on a swamp. I guess I could just use it here and say what's on 8. It might be empty, but yeah, it might be empty. Well, whatever, I'll do it. So that's going to cost me 2 times. We're making guesses again. All right, come on. Show me the python or a toad. That would be amazing. It's empty. Yeah, I should have known that. Darn it. So it does discard my card, but it only uses 2 times. And again, the lost species appears empty, so I can't actually cross out everything and just circle the empty space. I'm just going to cross out anything that is a regular animal, and it's either empty or lost species here. Okay, Teeny's up again, and is surveying by boat 10 through 14. So going back here, then 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, whoops, I should have read better. Also going to 1, so really far trip. Maybe their toad research will help them narrow things down. Since that was a boat, that's 2 times, so I'll be up first, but we're going to make some more guesses. So I'm a little afraid to make any kind of guess. I'm pretty sure there are some couscouses maybe over here. But yeah, the only thing I will guess is here. Now, since it hasn't been revealed yet, I'm still allowed to make this guess right now. And I won't get the extra point for being first, but I can still cash in on the AI finding it. And now we're finally revealing things. 3s. But first, let's see if they place any more sightings. No. Okay, they didn't narrow anything down. Okay, so that's good for me. And they switched from Python to Toad. So did they not find the Python over here? I don't know. So now we're going to confirm sightings, which is what you do. So we tap an area, and if Teeny's the one who put it there, we just click on the little Teeny icon, and that just like automatically says what it is. So we can go ahead and do that for, what is it? This one and this one. So space 2 is going to be a lorry. That's right. And we can go ahead and do space 3 as well. Also going to be a lorry. And she was the first one there, so we will replace this with... Oh, that was already a bird. Those were already birds. That was didn't have to be. If there's a different token, we'd replace it with the right one. So we've got birds there. We were after her. So we just leave the tokens there. Having them on the board shows they're correct like this, and they're each worth 2 victory points for lorries. But on here, at these little numbers at the bottom, normally what you do is just circle the ones that you were first to discover something on. But when you're playing solo, you do a triangle for the ones they discovered. So they got a triangle for 2 and 3, and I'm about to get a triangle for space 15 because I was first there. So we have to actually confirm it and say it's a lorry there, and hey, it is, yay. So their token is the correct one. Their token stays there, and mine does as well, but I get to circle the 15 space to show I get the bonus 1 victory point. All right, and with that, we get to go again. So the town token is about to come back. I should probably go visit the town. So sure, let's do that. 1, 2, 3. And first, I got to pick a card. This is 1 victory point for every animal you've correctly identified in the forest. I've only found 1 so far, but I imagine I'll get more. I don't have any extra sighting tokens to get down. The extra research is kind of tempting, but nah, I like victory points. So let's go for the Rainforest Protectors. It's worth at least 1 to me. We get the Trailblazer. That's a 1-time card to make surveying by foot cost 1 instead of 3. So again, saves you 2 time. And then, so they've researched Python and Toad. I think it was Python. Couscous? Yeah, let's do Couscous because I'm trying to narrow down where they are. It says exactly 1 is in the rainforest. That might help me when I'm trying to figure out where they are located. So 1 in rainforest. All right. That moves me up 1, which means Teeny's first again. She's coming back my way. 14, 13, 12, 11. Surveying for Python, switching back to the snakes. And that puts... man, we're about to guess again. I would love to narrow down where the couscouses are. All right, so... There was 1 there, then there would... Okay, they have to all be, in this area. Yeah, the problem is if I, move too much, I'm not going to actually figure out enough to make a guess. All right, I don't know. I'm going to do a survey by boat. 11, so move right first. 10, 9, 8. Basically, I'm cheating a little bit because I already know there's not a couscous in 8. I'm surveying for couscous, by the way. So that way I get 4 spaces, but one of them doesn't really count. So I'm kind of getting a 3-space survey by foot, but without needing to spend the extra time for it. Okay, so 11, 10, 9, 8, couscous. Ooh, 2 out of those. And it's really out of 3 spaces. Remember, not out of 4. That is good. That is very good. This one I actually have to write down because the first time I've actually found something. Okay, so we know there's not 1 here. So this could be the 1 forest. In fact, does it have to be the 1 forest? Yeah, let me figure this out for a second. This research, I think, is actually really good. There's exactly 1 in the rainforest. So if it wasn't 9, if they were in 11 and 10, then there is no other forest within 2 of both of them because I already eliminated 6. So that means it is absolutely certain that they are in 9. So then the other 2 have to be within 2 spaces, not moving through mountains. And they can't be that way. Ooh. So they can't be 10 and 11 because I just went through there. So that means it's 10 or 11. I don't know that one, but it's definitely 16. Ooh, so I got 2 research things to put down or sighting tokens. That's great. Okay. So yeah, we are 2/3 of the way to having the couscous is 100% identified. And we don't know how they relate to the lost species yet, but that's awesome. Okay, good. That was a boat survey. 1, 2. They'll be going next. But first, we are making 6 guesses and revealing 4. And yeah, how clunch is it that I got the exact 6 guesses I wanted? Because the most I can place is 2. All right, boom, boom. And then is Teeny doing a 1? No! Ooh. Oh, man, we might be running away with this. And there's a 4 to confirm. I mean, we'll do it real quick. But yeah, we already know what's there. We both already had the right thing. Okay, I just placed all birds there. I guess I had them on top of the stack. Okay, so that's 100% certain. And we're about to... Oh, wait, did we already... No. I thought we already got our camera trap back, but we're about to get it after passing here. We are about to get the shared research, and we both get our town token back. Now, before we do Teeny's turn, we should go ahead. Remember, the rule for pythons is they are not adjacent to couscouses. So there can't be a python here. Can't be a python here. That's all we eliminated. Good job. Although there's either a couscous here or here, so definitely can't be there either. And probably can't be there or there. We'll find out. All right, Teeny's doing a research of swamp. They really love to go to the town every time they can, which, makes sense since they get 2 victory points for it. And they want the lowest numbered card, the Town Elder, that would have given a second research. And it's replaced with Rainforest Expert. That would let us put our camera trap down for 2 in a forest instead of 4. I might go grab that, or the Trailblazer, although I've been doing a lot of boat surveying instead of walking, because it's 1 time to save 2, so it kind of makes things sort of free in a way. All right, and then they move forward 1. We're about to get that, and then the camera trap back. So, yeah, maybe I'll go to town. All right, so what am I? So, couscous is going to be here or here. And then, I don't know where the toads are at all, but the snake's got to be probably somewhere up there, because, again, there's so many couscouses here, especially if one ends up being there, that it'll really narrow down their possibilities. Yeah, I mean, if there's a couscous here, then there's 4 areas the python could be. But sure, what the hey, I'll take my turn to also go to town. There's no problem with being in the same space as another player. Am I going to use my camera trap? It's pretty good. Okay, I just feel like I'm going to get a nothing again. Ooh, plus 3 points if you find the python. That's pretty good. And then what am I going to research? I don't know anything about toads. And they got the toad research. Yeah, I think I'm going to do toad as well. Or maybe python. Nah, let's do toads. It says 1 is adjacent to a mountain. With the lorries over here, there aren't too many. Well, I guess there's, like 1, 2 spots for toads there then. And then, with the couscouses over here, we really cut that down a lot. 1, 2. So, oh my gosh. Wait, but it's only 1 is adjacent to the mountain. And it's exactly 1. So once I find 1 that is adjacent to the mountain, I'll eliminate all the spaces otherwise that are adjacent to mountains for toads. So that's pretty good. All right, now we're going to find out something about the lost species in couscouses with the second conference. It's not southeast of any couscous. Man, I hope that's how you pronounce it. Couscous is like a grain, right? It's probably like couscous or something. So not, was it southeast? Not southeast of C. So, okay, I know. Boom, you're not the lost species. Boom, you're not the lost species. Actually, that means this is definitely empty. That's cool, the one that I had camera trapped. And this is either a toad or empty. So for that to be a toad, that would have to be an empty space. Would be interesting if that was a toad, though, wouldn't it? It's almost worth going over there, just in case it is. Although I also want to narrow down which of these 2 spaces has the couscous in it, because then I will definitely have something to guess. All right, camera trap's about to come back. But first, Teeny, getting in the game. She's going to survey for couscouses, and she's going to find a bunch. It says 11 to 14. So 11. Oh, actually, she's going the wrong way. 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, and area 1? So the only couscous she might have seen is if there's one right there. I guess how she behaves next might give me an idea of whether she got a 1 or a 0 result. But yeah, that was a fairly wasteful action. So there we go. And okay. What do I want to do here? I'm between doing kind of what she did, because if I go 11 to 14 with the boat, I only spend 2 time, and since it's either 10 or 11, I'll either get a 1 or a 0 and know 100% sure where the couscous is, and that's good. And then I'll be able to guess it here. Alternatively, I could go looking for the toad, and yeah, I mean, although that's not going to be as much of a sure thing. So yes, we are going... Well, I think I want to stay down here where I think a toad might be. So I'm going to do the opposite and go boat 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 through 7. I'll still eliminate whether it's 10 or 11 for the couscous, but I'll be more in the area that I think there might be a toad here. I could even do like my camera trap maybe. All right, it said there are 2 couscouses in those spaces, and the third one's there. So yes, okay, 10 must be 1, 11 is not 1, which eliminates much fewer python spaces. It also means that the AI got a 0 on their big boat move for it. So yeah, they were really tightly packed, weren't they? Okay, so what do we have left? We have 4 empty spaces, the python, both toads, and the lost species. And it's like the entire middle of the island. Yeah, all right. And which research even matters anymore? We don't care about that. The one adjacent to the mountain is still great. We don't care about that. Not, what was it? Southeast of a couscous. So that did not give any more information. That's a pretty useless thing. Oh, and no animals to the northwest, which again, no information because there are no spaces the lost species could be to the northwest of the couscous. So that is some useful conference info, man. All right, and we did the same action type. So we're going to make some more guesses and reveal. No, not yet. My 6s will not be revealed. Only 5s are. Yeah, the only thing I feel comfortable guessing is the couscous I'm sure of. Again, I feel like there might be a toad there, but that's just kind of a, a total guess. Oh, and they placed one in Area 1. Whoa, why did they place a token in Area 1? Okay, I got to think about this for a second. This should give me some information. Okay, so they search for couscouses up to Area 1. That wouldn't matter at all. They search for Python 14 to 11, but not 1. What else did they search for? They search for toads in 1, 14. Okay. I feel like that's probably a toad. Maybe the toad adjacent to a mountain. No, that can't be a toad. That can't. Ooh, this is good. So why can't this be a toad? I should have already crossed it off. Toads have to be next to two empty spaces. 2 empty spaces. And look, since there's a bird here and there's a mountain here, this can't be a toad because they can only possibly be adjacent to 1 empty space. I know it's not a. Oh, shoot, I should cross out all the couscouses, shouldn't I? So this is great. Did they just tell me where the python was? For free? Wow. All right. That is big. I mean, they're going to get the first guess, but I can guess it on the very next turn with no danger at all. So if the python's there, I mean, all that's left are the toads. And by the way, there can't be a toad. Oh, so that's a python. I'm pretty confident in my deduction here, so let's cross off every other python. This can't be a toad because there's a python and a bird next to it, so it couldn't get next to 2 empty spaces. So that's either the lost species, not south, no animals to the northwest. Okay, so that wouldn't matter. This could be a toad. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of like spaces in here. But once I get the 1 toad next to the mountains, which at this point can only be here, which is still valid, here, which is still valid, or here. So yeah, this is pretty big. And that's it. We're not revealing anything, so they're going up. And ooh, okay, Teeny is doing camera trap on 13. What are they going to find there? That is one of the possible mountain toad spaces. So if they make a guess there, I'll know it's a toad. Sorry, I should have gotten both our camera traps back. So the nice thing is, though, that means that they're spending 4 time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Get our town token back and reveal my 6s. Make some more guesses. Still, I don't know why. I like in my gut, this is a toad. So I'm going to use my camera trap and the Rainforest Expert card I got to place my camera trap for only 2. And we're going to do it right where I am and just see what happens. It's empty. It's empty. Darn it. Okay, that's fine. Or it appears empty, I should say. It might not be. Oh, no, that one actually is empty because there are animals to the northwest of it. Okay, so that's 2 empties. That really limits. There's only 3 empties left, and the toads have to be adjacent to them, which means... Follow my logic for a second here. No, I guess there could be a toad here using that one. And that's adjacent to a mountain. Maybe I should have done my camera trap there. Well, either way, boop, boop. I get to go again. And I already have a guess with the snake. Gotta find these toads. Where am I gonna go? I mean, I could do like a random boat move, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Find out if there's a toad in either of those spots. I could even be kind of silly and go like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Although I guess 11 is also possible. I could like go all the way to here just to specifically narrow down 6. It would kind of be like another camera trap just for toads. I mean, I sort of like that. Although maybe 13 is the spot with the 1 mountain toad. Once I find the 1 mountain toad, I'm cutting out a ton of other spaces. So what if I do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? If they say 0 toads, I've 100% narrowed it to being a toad there. And then like... I'd have a lot of information on where the other toad is and where like empty spaces are. Yeah, okay, we're going to do, might be too much, but I'm going to do 6 to 11. All right, come on, I kind of want the 0. Click in a lot of boxes. Okay, come on, give me the 0. Oh, I didn't say toads. There are no toads. Yes, okay, this should be big. I bet I can figure out a ton of stuff. So I'll move my figure 2 and advance and do the guesses and stuff in a second, but wow. Okay. So 6 does not have a toad. 11 does not have a toad. We need a toad next to a mountain. And literally the only spot that is possible is where they did their camera trap. So they know this toad is here. That's definitely going to be one of their guesses in a second. This toad needs to have 2 empty spaces adjacent, and one of these spaces needs to be a toad, right? Yeah, those are the only two spaces. Okay, so if there's a toad in one of these, the other one needs to be empty, and then this space needs to be empty. Otherwise, this toad would not have two spaces adjacent. Okay, so toad or toad, empty otherwise, which will give us 1, 2, 3, 4 empties, and then one of these is empty. One of them is a lost species, folks. Not in the same land type as the python. I forgot about that. So python in rainforest, not the lost species. Crap. That's it, right? That's it. Oh my gosh! So my next turn, I am calling out the lost species right away because the earlier you get it, the better. Okay, yeah, let's do this. So sorry, AI, I think it's going to be a blowout. 1, 2. We get our town tokens back. It's probably going to be the action they take before I find the thing. Okay, and we're putting down 2s, checking 6s. Yeah, that's got to be the python, right? And then where did I know there was a toad? Oh, right where they're going to say there's one as well. And yeah, my guess is that will be their only camera trapper, sighting placed. And yep, I'm 100% correct. They are. I'm just going to put a toad there. We know that's what they're saying. And then 6s get revealed. I mean, I'm basically 100% sure, but let's check. And yes, confirm that both of these are indeed couscouses. Oh, have I been marking like first to find something? This might have been the first time in a while. So yeah, it's 16 and 9. I get a circle. Oh, and I think I forgot. We both got 4 first, right? That was the one that we had like simultaneously placed down. So that's a triangle and a circle, sort of. All right, unless Teeny's really smart, I feel like they're going to go to the town. Yep, and they're doing the couscous research and getting 2 more victory points. We don't really care. Don't care what card they got either. And yeah, this is it. Most expensive action in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to say I know. Oh, wait. Hold on. Crud, everybody. You know what I forgot? To guess where the lost species is. Oh, no, I am okay. Okay. You need to know exactly what's in 2 adjacent spots, so not over mountains. But I have confirmed that this, if that's the lost species, that has to be empty. So I do know 2 things next to it. So, okay, we'll do the 5. And let's see if we're right. What was it? Space 11. Continue. And next to it is a couscous. And next to it is nothingness. Yes! Okay. I didn't think I messed up my logic, but I always could have. Okay, and then other players, that ends the game, but other players, based on how far back they are, get to like place sighting tokens and or claim the lost species themselves. So they are 4 spaces back from me. They don't do anything? So I think we end the game. Oh my gosh, should I like just demolish them score-wise? Yeah, so, okay, the last toad was there. Nobody found them. But we are right here with the python, and the AI gets the bonus point for that one. And then we both share the bonus point for 13. So they get 1, we share 13. Oh, and I get 10. So me, 10, 13, them, 1, 13. And there we go. Beautiful. All right, so let's count up the points. First. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they shared that one. We'll do like a little slash, so that'll be the bottom. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so barely ahead. Birds, we both found all of them, and they're each worth 2, so that's 8 and 8. This is where I'm going to demolish them. I got all the couscouses, and they got none, so 9 and 0. Toads, we each got only 1, so that's 4 and 4. Pythons, we each found it, that's 5 and 5. I got the lost species, and they just didn't try. And then rainforest protectors. Looks like I identified 3 things in the rainforest, so that's plus 3. And they got 4 cards at 2 each, that's 8. That's a big bump. So I'm 1 ahead here, 10 ahead with that, 22 ahead with that, but then minus 5, 17 ahead. I don't know what the actual score is, but either way, unless I messed up, I beat them by a lot. So that is Search for the Lost Species in very beta mode, including the app, but let me talk about it a bit. So the good stuff, even though I'm focusing on solo, I did play this a lot with my son competitive, and it's a blast. It's interesting to compare it to the Search for Planet X, because I played a lot of that one too. And I think there's things that make this one more accessible and also less accessible. I think the movement around the board is a little bit easier to understand than Planet X's kind of forced rotation of which spaces you can go to. So in that way, I think it's more accessible and also like easier to kind of track things down because you can go back and forth over spaces, whereas in Planet X, you're kind of forced to search different parts of the solar system and then come back to things later. But at the same time, I think these cards make things slightly more complex, but not that much. And I do enjoy the inclusion of them. But yeah, in terms of comparing this and Search for Planet X, let's take that one out for a second. This is a fun, like deduction, kind of clue style, tracking things down kind of game. and I've been enjoying this one competitive a lot, just like Search for Planet X. Now, as for the solo, the app works really well. The solo turn is super easy to run. Looking at what the solo does lets you make inferences and stuff, just like in a competitive game. I do have some concerns with the solo, though. I remember I haven't played Search for Planet X solo in a while, but I remember them beating me pretty consistently. And yeah, this one I gave myself 0 clues at the start, and they got trounced. And there was no option for me to give them clues at the start. And I'm wondering if they're going to add that because, yeah, it seems like if the player and the AI are even, at least at the current kind of difficulty, they might be a little bit too much of a pushover. But if they had started with like 6 clues and I started with 0, the big thing is that would have meant like the thing that clues kind of give is this this lack of surety. You know, like when I was like, oh, they put something down there, they've only done a search for lorries and they always place things when they know it's there. So I know that's a lorry and there's no question. You know, when they do that kind of stuff, without having any hidden clues at the start of the game, like a player will usually have, it's too easy to kind of infer what they're doing. So I think, yeah, if there's a way, if they add a way in the app to have more clues, I think that'll make things great because then you can balance the game more if it's too easy to beat the solo and also make it a little bit harder to figure out what's going on. And the other thing is, this I don't know if they need to do. If they do the other thing, they've already kind of fixed the difficulty concern. But right now, the AI does not know when you put things down. And as you saw, that is humongous because I was like, oh, they have tokens here. There's only one thing that could be. I'll steal their points. You know, it's like a big part of the game. Like, when do you put tokens down and when does it give too much information to your opponent? So, yeah, the fact that like there's no, even though it would be a little bit onerous, I'll admit, the fact that there's no way to enter where your own sighting tokens are going on the app, unless I missed how to do it, I think severely handicaps the AI's ability to really read you and bonus benefit off of your own guesses. So those are the two things, like either or, that I'd like to see added to the app. The ability to track where you make guesses to make it a bit more like playing against a real opponent, and or the ability to give the AI some free information at the start that you are not privy to so that it's harder to like figure out what they're doing on the board. But besides that, I think it's a really fun one. You know, would I want to own this and Planet X? I don't know. I could see kind of switching it up, but they are very similar games. And at this point, I'm not sure which one I prefer. I think this one is probably going to be a little bit better for my kids. My son has really enjoyed it. I think Planet X is slightly more interesting and restrictive with the planet rotation, which could be fun or not so fun for people. But yeah, I think this is a great game. And if you don't have Planet X and you like kind of these social deduction games and like fun, like quick playing solo modes, this one's a slam dunk. So thanks for watching, everybody. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.